Hi everyone, and welcome to CC19's API Night. We're so excited to have you all joining us here today from the comfort of your homes, and we're really excited to be presenting all our students' projects to you. So API Night comes at the end of week 7 of our program. For those who are not familiar with our immersive program, during week 7, we have Industry Partners Week, where we partner with an industry partner from our community. In this case, that's Stripe. And they provide support and mentorship to all our students throughout the week so that our students can use their API in their applications. So from Stripe today, we have Kenta. Kenta, please feel free to come to the stage and turn your video on. And we're gonna have Kenta present a few words about Stripe now. Kenta, please take it away.
Thank you, Shivani. Let me bring up the slides right now. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone, by the way, for the great feedback session earlier. It's really great to get all the questions and get all the great feedback firsthand from our users. It was a really great session we had. And I hope this week's been a fun week working on your projects and especially working with the Stripe API. And I can't wait to see what everyone's built this week. I'm going to give a presentation about Stripe again and who we are as a company. And I'll try to keep this really short and then just so we can go right into the presentations. Let's just dive in. So Stripe's mission is to increase the GDP of the internet. That sounds like a very grand and very ambitious goal, but it actually had very humble beginnings. So let's go back in time and 2007. This is a time when social media is starting to catch on and this new service called Twitter was gaining popularity. Smartphones weren't really a thing yet, and instead there are these PDA devices like the Nokia one shown here, and Apple was set to announce their first iPhone. So alongside this, the co-founders of Stripe, the Colisan brothers, were actually running their own online business called Octomatic. This was a service to manage all of your inventory and sales on eBay. And the business was going well, but the brothers were kind of running into some problems. And that was whenever they were working with financial data, they saw that there's a lot of friction involved with integrating payments, processing, and transactions. And for example, even onboarding to be able to use a service. They were using a partner called WorldPay back then. It involved a lot of steps and overall wasn't a great experience to run your business online. There were some alternatives such as PayPal, which is new back then. But at the time, there was over 400 pages of documentation that you had to work through to start using it. And that's kind of a testament to how complicated and how complex it was to take your business online. And that's kind of where the brothers stepped in and said, we need to build our own solution and we need to change this. So they started working on a project to basically help online businesses accept online payments. And that is today known as Stripe. So Stripe has a large set of global users today, all across different large companies such as Amazon and Google, and among startups and smaller companies. And in Japan too, the users cover a broad set of enterprise users and startups and SaaS companies. And actually, startups continue to be one of the biggest core users of the Stripe service. There's a core user for Stripe. So what's actually the value that Stripe provides? So in my opinion, Stripe's biggest kind of core user experience or core value is providing a developer-friendly, developer-focused payments experience that allows you to build your business. And kind of centered around that delightful user experience to accept online payments are these additional plethora of products that enable different business use cases and business models. Let's say you want to start running an online marketplace that connects coffee shops and customers. Well, there's Stripe Connect, which allows you to take those payments from customers and distribute it among the shops that are on your service. Let's say you want to build a new SaaS service, the next Slack, a productivity tool, and sell it to enterprise customers. And there's Stripe Billing, which allows you to set custom billing policies for those SaaS subscriptions. And there's many other features that's built on top of the core kind of concept of providing a developer-friendly way to integrate this into your business. And that's kind of where Stripe's value shines. And a lot of businesses today depend on Stripe for their business success. And yeah, and I want to finish off with a note that Stripe is actually hiring. And we're probably always going to be hiring, as Daniel said on Tuesday. And even in Japan, I think we have over 10 different roles, positioned across 10 different roles, spanning engineering and data science and sales and all the like. So please do check out the stripe.com/jobs website. There's also, among like Tokyo position, there's a lot of Stripe hires a lot of remote positions available. So please do check it out if you're interested, and also please share it with anyone you might know that might be interested in opportunities at Stripe. And with that, I want to say thank you again for everyone for all the great feedback and all the questions that you've asked on Slack this week. It's been really helpful and insightful to hear firsthand from our users, and it's really a privilege to be here today. So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to pass it back to Bonnie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenta. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much to Christoph and Daniel too for all your help and support throughout this week. We're going to get into our student presentations very, very soon. But before that, I also want to provide a little bit of context for this week, because this week is a really dynamic week in the program. At the start of week 7, all these students did their halfway review, which is a really intense day of review of the whole course up till this point. And they make a full stack application in one day. After that, on Tuesday, we presented this project to them, and they started working with Stripe. And they basically spent about 3.5 days working on these apps that you're about to see today. These are all full stack applications, and they're absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait for you to see each and every one of them. So without further ado, first off, we're going to have Team Pelican. So Team Pelican, please feel free to get ready. And they're going to be presenting their app to you, MentorMe. MentorMe helps aspiring programmers solve the age-old question: how to learn what you don't know you don't know. I would certainly like to know the answer to that question. So Team Pelican, please take it away.
Thanks a lot, Shivani, for that excellent introduction. We are Team Pelican, and we're here to talk to you about MentorMe, which, as you say, is an app to help people learn what it is they don't know that they don't know. Before we get into the app, though, we'd like to take a second to introduce the entire team. So if you guys wouldn't mind joining me and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ken Kurosaki Rodriguez, and I'm the tech lead for this project. And I worked on the Stripe integration along with Musin, and also did a little bit in the front end and the back end, so full stack. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Musin Benarbia. I also worked on both the back end and the front end, as well as the Stripe integration for this project.
My name is Johan Testrup, and I also worked as a full stack engineer on this project and general handyman.
And I'm Pete Griffith, and I worked also full stack on this project and figured out these slides. So just a quick general structure about what we're going to talk about today. We'll first go into why it is that we feel like our product is important, and then go into what it is that we're doing and kind of give you guys a quick demo. We'll take a look under the hood and give you guys a sense of how MentorMe was built, tech stack that we built it on. And then we'll go into challenges and the future and what we think went wrong and what went right and what will be even better going forward.
All right, so before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about why MentorMe and talk a little bit about the situation that sparked the motivation to create MentorMe in the first place. So we as programmers tend to go online to look at various sources for our studies. Vast amounts of knowledge shared amongst programmers, online forums, YouTube tutorials, etc. But how does one even know where to begin? Or where are you even aiming with all of that knowledge? Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. That's where MentorMe comes in. We want to connect motivated students to leading professional programmers with one-on-one mentoring. So let's talk about a relatable issue here. You are an aspiring programmer and you're diving into React for the first time, and you quickly run into function versus class components. And after searching online at the usual places, Google and Stack Overflow, there are a plethora of answers and tutorials and opinions that go in either direction. And if you learn one, are you headed in the wrong direction? It's difficult to find an answer in this magnitude of information. So it'd be best to just ask a professional. I'm sure we've all thought that before. The solution? MentorMe. With MentorMe, you can seek the answers for their specific questions, for your specific questions, to learn which way is best by learning from someone experienced. Meanwhile, the experienced professionals can not only answer your questions, but assess student ability and knowledge base to create more custom-tailored instruction to better benefit the student. Finally, the mentor or industry professional can gain experience instructing junior developers to heighten their abilities to excel in a senior level position. And that's how we envisioned MentorMe. Ask questions, be curious, grow your confidence.
Thanks a lot, Ken. That was an excellent introduction. I want to quick go into exactly what it is that we're talking about here. What is the MentorMe app? So first, just to tell you what it is today. Today, MentorMe is an app, mostly, a native browser app that connects our team of mentors with paying clients with a lightweight user interface, gives clients a choice of mentors with various different skill sets, and using Stripe's excellent integration provides end-to-end payment functionality. That's a lot of words. Let's go ahead and do a demo and have a look at what it looks like. So when you land on the splash page of MentorMe, you get this really cool motto and a button that instructs you to check out our mentors. So let's go ahead and click through there. As you can see, we have 3 excellent mentors in our stable so far, but actually, you know what, Ken, we were just about finished registering our 4th mentor. So why don't we go ahead and finish that up? You can click register, please. Great, and I think that we can go ahead and fill in our 4th mentor's information. I believe Vic is excellent at Java and JavaScript. Am I wrong about that? That's awesome. Thank you very much. And you can just go ahead and click submit there, Ken. Thanks a ton. So now we have 4 members on our team. Sorry to make you watch all that. I, however, am really interested in learning a little bit about Postgres, and I can see that Ken Kurosaki there has some Postgres knowledge. Yep, can you go ahead and click through see more? Yep, time zone, Tokyo and Seoul, cool. Oh, you know what? We should probably log in before we do this so it'll get all our information. Ken, I believe you logged in before, so if you just go ahead and click on log in, it should use Firebase to go through your GitHub account and log you right in. Great, awesome. You know what, now that I think about it, let's go ahead and use Vic's there because I have some Java questions as well. Can you click on Vic there, see more? Yep, good, he's in Tokyo, Seoul, which is where I am. So why don't we go ahead and book him? This will take us off-site to Stripe's excellent integration. And as we can see here, Vic is a little bit costly, 25,000 yen, but I think it's worth it. So we'll go ahead and put our information in there and click pay, and we'll see if that accepts our credit card. Everyone take a picture. It did, excellent. So that'll send us right back to the MentorMe site. And if we'd like, we can go ahead and click back to the All Mentors page to see what other mentors we have on offer. And that's it. We intended to make this a lightweight, easy to use platform where we can easily connect our team of mentors with eager learners and eager users. So having seen the demo, it's time to look a little bit under the hood, talk about how the MentorMe app was built, both in the front end and in the back end.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Starting off from the backend. For the backend, we used Express as our server. We used PostgresQL as our database, and we used Knex to interface these 2 sites. The database at this stage, since the app is very simple for now, is very simple as well. We have a mentors table and the skills languages table with a many-to-many relationship. One of the key pieces of information, though, that we are storing in the mentors table is a product's price ID, which we get as a response from the Stripe API when we create a new mentor, when we register a new mentor. And on that note, we would like to thank Stripe. Thanks Stripe for the great tools and advice that they provided us throughout this week, and for the super intuitive documentation available. Every code snippet, every piece of information, everything that was in the docs worked exactly as advertised, and the platform was just pleasant to work with all around. So big thank you.
All right, thanks for that, Musin. Let's jump into the front end of our web application. We went with the very popular JavaScript framework Vue. And to speed up our design process and be able to stick to a tight time schedule, we used Vue Bootstrap. We used that to style our components. Bootstrap provides you with a pre-designed component, and then by tweaking them to our own liking, we were all able to reach a level of design we wouldn't be able to if we style everything from scratch ourselves, given the time constraints of this project. We also chose to use VueX to manage the state of our app. This decision allowed us to write shorter and simpler code by allowing us to reference the store from any component in our app. Lastly, for the front end, we used Vue-router. Vue-router connects the web browser's URL to our Vue components so that we render whatever components are associated with the given URL. And for the last part of our presentation, we want to share with you the challenges we faced, and also share the exciting future of MentorMe.
Okay, so one of the interesting things that was happening was that even though we had a success landing page, as you saw from the demo, we needed to redirect the user upon successful payment and back to our website, to a success landing page. And even though we had a view route for it, when redirecting the user from the Stripe page, all we got was a 404 error. After investigating, we realized that the browser was trying to reach the success page on the server side, which did not exist yet. So we had to find a way to map our server-side routes to the ones made with Vue-router.
Yeah, and just going off what Musin was talking about, entirely on the front end using Vue-router was a real big learning experience for us. It really required a rethink of how we moved from component to component, coming from vanilla Vue, away from VF-reliant mounting and VLs-reliant mounting of components to actually referencing the routes as written. And it also took a lot of work understanding how to pass things from component to component through the store instead of through passing up and down, because we were using Vue-router, which was a big learning experience, but a lot of fun.
On another front, we also had some GitHub issues, which were tracking files that were added to the git ignore, and they were actually causing our environments to fail. So it was a learning experience, and definitely glad we patched that, because that could have been a great security flaw. So it was a very educational challenge.
We also found it challenging to balance the short-term solutions versus the long-term solutions. And I think we all had a learning experience about doing what's necessary and not pre-optimize too early. As developers, we love our tools, but after some initial struggles and interesting discussions, we ended up making some important decisions to simply make things work. And if things need to get changed, then let's change them. Then.
Okay, talking about some of the things that went right. The initial setup for the backend was very smooth. Going back to what Johan just said, thanks to the fact that we had a clear vision for the MVP after the first meeting, all of us, we had a clear vision of what we wanted to end up with and what the MVP would look like. So that made it for an easy setup of the database, of the migrations, of the seeding of the database. We didn't have to redo any of that, and it worked on the first try.
Yeah, also kind of touching on what Johan talked about, the team dynamics in general really smooth. From the beginning, roles were set, but they were quite flexible, and there was no ego in determining who was going to work where. people kind of gravitated exactly to where they felt comfortable working, but there was no issues kind of crossing the front end back end divide, helping out with things that people felt really comfortable with on the other side. Workflow I found was really dynamic and agile, and people were really happy to pick up little projects that needed to be done just when they needed to be done. And in general, I think our time management really suited the needs of the team, and everyone was very generous with sort of how they allowed other people to work and how they worked themselves.
And going along with what Musin said earlier, the Stripe API integration was just absolutely immaculate. The great documentation, especially just using the code from the GitHub and watching the tutorials as well, they really had all bases covered. So our first step of using the Stripe API was very easy and very intuitive. And also the product management interface was also very easy to use as well. So big shout outs to Stripe. Thank you very much for that.
The whole team understood our end goal clearly. So during our inception meeting, we made sure to clearly define our end goal, and perhaps most importantly, that everyone felt inspired by that end goal. So during the entire build process, everyone stayed flexible and took on supporting roles for our shared vision. We attribute a lot of our success as a team to this strong alignment to our end goal.
Great, thank you. Just a quick brief note about what we think the future holds for MentorMe. Currently, we have a stable of now 4 mentors who receive bookings, and then we as a company pay them big fat paychecks. But what we would like to do in the future is to invite other mentors to come and register on our platform, on a platform, and get vetted, of course, and then be able to sort of sell their own services individually to individual users who come on in. And moving from a group sort of company model to a platform model requires a lot more help from Stripe, which is great because we know that Stripe has the capability of sort of upgrading their integration to exactly what we need. So we really would love for you guys to come and check out MentorMe. We feel like the more people that see it, Ken, if you could just hop back real quick, that's a really important slide. If we feel like, if you check on the graph there on the left, you can see very clearly that we're expected to make like $1 bajillion in 2022. But that's only if you guys come and check us out. So please check this QR link and come and visit us at MentorMe. There's some GitHub handles there. And yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing you at MentorMe, where we can help you learn what you don't know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much for sharing that amazing presentation with us, Team Pelican. I can't wait to use MentorMe. It looks like you have some high profile mentors on there. By that, I mean our very own Vic and Ken, of course. So next up, we have Ezo Group. So please feel free to take the stage, Ezo Group. And they'll be presenting to you their nightlife app with the tagline, "Where do we go?" Ezo. Okay, so please take it away, Ezo Group.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for coming to our presentation today. We really appreciate you being here. We are Ezo Group, and we're all very excited to knock your socks off today with the latest nightlife companion app, Ezo. It's my pleasure to introduce our team. My name is Will. I worked as the tech lead on our project and also predominantly worked on the back end.
Hi, my name is Russell. I mainly worked on the front end.
Hello, my name is David, and I was a front-end developer on the team.
Hey everyone, my name is Yoshio, and I also worked on the back end, and I'll pass it back to Will.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So yeah, without further ado, we'd love to introduce you to our app. I'm going to hand it over to David to tell you about our mission.
Thank you, Will. Our task was to build a full-stack app that utilized the Stripe API with only a few days to do so. And these were some of the steps that we took. We had a stakeholder meeting to go over and pitch different ideas amongst our group. And we talked about our interests, such as things like sports and socializing, because we like to socialize, and restaurants and bars, because we like to drink. So we wanted to make something useful in the market. And we envisioned an app that would capture the nightlife scene while being useful to both individuals and business. And that's when we came up with the idea for this app, Easel. So what is the app? Our app helps individuals find bars and izakayas in the local area that are not too crowded or busy. And it has a simple interface that makes finding a bar quick and easy with a very user-friendly experience. It also helps business owners to create a profile and promote their business. The concept of this app was to create a quick and easy way for establishments to update the status of their business. Now, Russell will take us into a demo.
Thank you. I would like to show our app for everyone. Going into this app, I would like to give you two perspectives. The first perspective would be of a normal or regular user. Let's say it's Friday night. It's 8 p.m. I'm out with my friends hanging around Shinjuku. We've been to a couple of bars so far, but it looks like everywhere we've gone so far has been full. I just recently downloaded this new app, and I know that it actually shows me in real time what places are available. So I opened the app, and this is what I see from the very beginning. It locates me based on GPS and shows me available bars that are around my area. And so taking a look at this, I would say it's very easy to understand. These color-coded markers are telling me which places are available. For example, if I wanted to see this one marker over here, I get the name of the place, as well as telling me how much space is available. The red would indicate that it's very busy, as well as yellow telling me that there are some seats available. Well, our app is not just for the individual user. We are also targeting businesses. So for example, let's say I just started a new bar and I'm hoping to get new customers. I'm also part of this business community of other bar owners. And through conversations with them, I came to find out that one way they increased their customer base was by using this app called Easel. It seems that the app indicates to other people, regular users, if the seats are available or not. And I need more people to come into my place of business. So I decided to give the app a try. Well, I download the app, I open it up, and I know I probably have to register my business. So let me go ahead and make a new account. So I click on the sign in button. I see that there's a create account button over there. So let me go ahead and put all my information in there. I have it filled out here. I am specifically indicating that I am a business, and let me go ahead and create an account. Once I create an account, I can just give it a second to register here. Yeah, let me go ahead and just sign in to the app. And once I sign in, it automatically goes to the business account page. I need to add my business, of course. And so I can click add business and put all my business information in. Let me go ahead and just do that. Once I click add business, I'm expecting for my business to be listed on that map. And sure enough, there it is, my izakaya. Unfortunately, it says closed and it's open right now. So let me fix that. I'm going to set it to free. And let's see, does that really update real time? So let me go back to the main. Oh, and sure enough, it actually updated real time. But as it is now, that's not enough information that I want to give to users. I want to give more information. Is that possible? Well, I do see this Go Premium button over here. Let me click that and, oh, okay, I can become a premium member. It helps me expand my reach, helps my business stand out, and it's only 500 yen a month. That seems very reasonable. Let me go ahead and sign up for it. Okay, so I need to provide some payment details. So it looks like I put this all in, and these details, if I wasn't mistaken, is powered by Stripe, and very trustworthy provider there. And wow, it's successful. Great. Let me move forward. So that button that was there before is gone now. It's the update business info button. And so let me give that a click. Oh, I guess I can fill these things out and it'll show up on the main screen. Let me go ahead and fill it out. well, I'm a bar, so I'm only open at night, of course. Let me update that and just let's check the map and see how it goes. Oh, wow, just like that, I was able to, after upgrading my account, fill out more information, and I think my business really stands out now. That's great. Thanks, Ezo app. So let me pass the buck to Will for explanation of our business model.
Thank you so much for that great presentation there, Russell. So just a quick discussion on our business model then. Why would people want to use our app? So what we think the real value add of our app is, don't you think that a lot of bars and izakayas, they're kind of stuck in the Stone Age when it comes to advertising. They're putting advertisements online or in newspapers. But we feel that there is a gap in the market there for people, for businesses and customers to connect in real time. That's our really big value add. Next, we looked at the market size. There's approximately 30,000 bars in Tokyo, bars and izakayas together. And if we can get to even a percentage of those bars, then it's clear that there's a lot of business for our app and a lot of data that's really relevant to users. So finally, then, a quick look at our pricing model. One really key thing for our team is that we wanted our app to be free both for users and for businesses as well. And then the more of those people we have on our app, the more we are able to sort of then use our subscription model to entice businesses in with extra features and value additions to them. So now we're going to move on to Yoshio, who's going to take you through our tech stack.
Hey everyone, thank you very much, Will. So first I'd like to talk about our backend database, which is powered by Postgres. Our Postgres database currently has 3 tables: the users table that stores general user information, as well as the Stripe customer ID. Then the businesses table again has general business information, as well as the information that we use to display in the info window. And finally, we have the subscriptions table that actually houses the Stripe subscription ID that is generated once a business decides to go premium. And this subscriptions table is tied to the users table and the business table by a foreign key connection using the IDs of the other tables. So next, I'd like to talk about the backend server. For that, we used Express.js to manage all of our API routes that the front end would call. And Knex was our database driver to make communication with our backend database. And then for our front end, we used the Vue front end framework to manage all of our component rendering. And we actually had to use a tool to manage our global state as well, because there's so many different key pieces and key variables that need to move throughout the application as the user navigates our mobile application. So this is what our tech stack looks like. And I'd like to pass it to Russell to talk about our challenges.
Thank you, Yoshio. And I would like to speak with everyone on some of the challenges that we had with this app. As you may have seen during the sign up of a new business, it was necessary to put the latitude and longitude. And initially we were hoping to avoid this, have it be automatically locating the business and not needing for a regular business user to put those coordinates in. However, we came actually to a paywall by Google, and for future implementations of this, we're hoping to avoid that in any way. Another challenge we did have was with designing the front end with while considering the back end. Essentially, there was a lot of discussion on how the front end design would be, but not so much necessarily on how we're going to be connecting the two in terms of sending what type of objects need to be sent to the front end. That conversation actually came a little bit later, and it came to the point where we actually had to sit down and agree on how this object that the backend would serve would look. And lastly, working with Stripe was really good. The documentation was very top notch. But since we were using Stripe with this front Vue, we actually had to use a front end library called Vue Stripe. And it seems like this documentation was relatively new, so it wasn't quite robust in its writing. So we had to do a lot of digging around in the code to better understand how it works. Also, we got a lot of great help from our Stripe partners to better understand the credit card payment system, and we're very thankful for it. So if I can pass the buck again to Yoshio.
Awesome. I'll be talking a little bit about our learnings, and Russell touched on this a little bit, but one of them was really around alignment and cohesion. So we had a lot of really talented people working on our team, and we just wanted to get something developed and get something off the ground quickly. So we didn't really question our process, and we just started going forward with staying agile and developing our application. And we found out later that more cohesion would have been a little bit more efficient because we had to take a few steps backwards further, pretty far into our development process. That was quite a learning for us. We also discussed that, bigger projects would probably require a bit more alignment. So we kind of had some agreement there. The next learning is working with external partners. Luckily, we were able to work with Stripe, which was a great experience. And we almost felt like we were a client of Stripe, and they were showing us how to navigate their API and a lot of their product features. So I'd just like to say that I'm really grateful for the 32 reply Slack conversation that we had with them. And we learned a lot about credit card payments there. The final learning, again, revolves around Stripe, and this is revolving around their subscriptions product offering. And you would imagine that generating a subscription and developing an app that utilizes this feature would be pretty simple. But there's actually a lot going on here, and it taught us a lot about enterprise level APIs. So just to give you a little bit of background, you actually have to create a product object that defines the product, a price object that defines how you can actually pay for this product, and then a customer object that's tied to the user. And this happens when the user creates an account. Then you have a subscription object that's created once a business decides to go premium. And then finally, when they make their credit card payment, a payment intent object is created to actually pay for that subscription. So as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts, and we're really grateful for working with Stripe. And it was a great learning that we all experienced. Now I'd like to pass it to Will to talk a little bit about our future roadmap.
Thank you so much, Yoshio. So yes, as you can see, we're very happy with the app that we've made to create in the short amount of time that we had. But there's obviously a lot of things we would like to change and really progress moving forward as well. So the first of those things is we really feel, with following this real-time theme, that we'd like to add connectivity and more messaging systems to it. So perhaps premium businesses can pop messages out in real time when they're having a little bit of a dry patch with not so many customers. They can maybe chuck a special offer out there, connect with some customers who are walking around in front of their places now. Next, directions. We would also like to be able to, click on some of the icons and actually help our customers to navigate towards the place that they found. The next 2 points is again about increasing the value for our subscription businesses, and that will be, all sorts of things from images of their venues to custom icons on the map to really make them stand out. And finally, on there, accuracy ratings, giving more usage to the users who decide to sign up with our app, and maybe giving them the ability to give us, ratings of the businesses and how accurate their space ratings that they've given to themselves are. So just moving on to the final slide then. Thank you so much for listening today. And please follow us on Twitter and GitHub. We'd love it if you stay connected with us. And please don't forget, where do we go? EZO. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yay, thank you so much, EZO Group. That was an amazing presentation as well. I cannot wait till the end of this pandemic when I can go use this app with all my friends. I'm sure I'll get a lot of good use out of it. All right, next up we have Team Cashless. So please come to the stage, Cashless, and they are going to be presenting to you their app Tasukete, helping people find natural Japanese speakers to assist with everyday life tasks. So please take it away, Team Cashless.
Thank you very much, Shivani, for that great introduction. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight and watching our presentation. We want to present to you our application Tasukete, or specifically Tasukete Tokyo. Let us take the burden. First of all, I would like to introduce us really quick. We are Team Cashless, and we want to help you. My name is Chris, and I worked in full stack for this application, and I was also the tech lead. And you can find my GitHub below.
My name's Evan Chihio, and I worked full stack on this application. And you can find me at Evomatic on GitHub.
My name is Julie. I also worked as a full stack engineer on this project, and my GitHub is Dawn Darkness.
My name is Gaëtan. I was a full stack engineer also during this project, and I was making sure that we were following our mobile first ambition during this whole project.
So what is Tasukete all about? Tasukete, for any viewers that are joining us from outside of Japan and maybe don't know, Tasukete is the Japanese word for the English to help. And this is what we want to do. We are about connecting people, helping others, getting the support that you really need when you need it, and showing appreciation. Now, what does this mean in terms of an application? We had a very specific use case in mind that's very close to us and very dear to our heart, because we all got started in Japan at some point, and when you arrive here first, it is very intimidating to settle down and settle in here. There are many different aspects of Japanese life that require fluent Japanese. If you want to open a bank account, if you go to the administration, to the city office, if you want to rent an apartment, it is very difficult to do this by yourself. And it is also very difficult to find experienced people to help you if you're not coming here with a university or with an organization directly. So for these cases, we really want to help.
Thank you very much, Chris. So I'm going to take us through some user stories. These are basically the types of users that we had in mind when we developed this app. So first off, we have John. So John just arrived in Tokyo. As many people do when they first arrive, he's living in a share house. He's 23 years old. He has limited experience in Japan, doesn't speak Japanese at all. But to get his life started in Japan, he needs a bank account and a phone contract, and he needs help to have those opened for him. Then we have Sarah. She's a little bit different to John. She's been in Tokyo for longer, for almost 5 years now. She has her own apartment. She's 28 years old, but she is renewing her visa for the first time, and she's searching for a new apartment. So she needs help with both of these things. So now I'll pass it over to Gaëtan, who's going to take us through a demo of the app with these users in mind.
Hello, everyone. I'm John. I just arrived in Japan, and I actually need to open a bank account now. But the thing is, I don't know how to speak Japanese. So let me think. Oh, wait, I heard about like an app that I can download on my phone, actually, that could help me with opening a bank account. That's called Tasukete, I guess. So let's get into it. Okay, so I need to register an account. So I already have my account set up. Okay, so let's submit. Okay, now I have some requests to fill. So I'm just gonna fill my name. My name is Jam Syrup, by the way. Okay, my contact. So I just gonna take my phone. Oh, I can decide when I want to be helped. I actually want to be helped on the 21st of May. So let's set that. Okay, cool. What I want to be helped with. I think I want to be helped with banking. So I'm gonna have for 2,000 yen. Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable amount. Where I live in Itabashiku. So I'm just gonna select it here. Okay, I want to give some more description, like about the thing I want to be helped with. So I'm just gonna fill the description, and I'm just gonna submit the form. So okay, I see that Gaëtan is ready to help me. Okay, cool. But I see in his description that he has only some experience in banking. I guess that the thing like opening a bank account in Japan is actually quite complicated. So I would like to have someone a little bit more experienced with banking. Plus, I really don't like his shirt. So I'm just gonna next him. Okay, I have Yoshi right now. I mean, he seems like a great guy. And plus he has a lot of experience in administration and banks. Okay, cool. I'm pretty cool with Yoshio. Let's go. So I'm gonna click on the checkout button. Now, okay, I need to fill all my my credit card information. So let's get into it. Yeah, sure. Okay, so my name is Gem Syrup. Perfect. So I'm done. Now I can send Yoshio his 2,000 yen to help me. Let's get into it. Wow, that was super simple actually. Like only in one click I could pay and be helped with. So now I will just need to check my email according to the thank you message. Okay, I guess that's what I'm gonna do right now.
All right. Thank you, Gaetan, for that awesome demo. So I'm going to kind of talk about the birth of our idea. During our brainstorming process, when we were thinking about an application, we were thinking of like what would be an MVP that is applicable with the Stripe API. We wanted something that would be kind of meaningful for this project that we had. And we thought about, what service would people use? Because we definitely wanted to build an app that, people want to use, or maybe people need to use. And what can realistically be done? We had a certain time frame, so we had to really think about what could our MVP be. And also, for those that don't know, MVP means minimum viable product. So what are the core functions or core aspects of our app that we can create with our allotted time? And we wanted it to be appropriate for users, have a nice user flow from beginning to end. So for example, as you saw in the application, an easy login screen, and then it's very clear for the user as to what they need to do next in order to find their helper and get to the checkout stage. All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the tech that we used as well. So our tech stack on the front end, we use React, and we use the React progressive web app a lot because we could use it both on the web and it would scale really nice with our phones as well, especially since we're going mobile first. And then we also use the Stripe checkout system, which going through the documentation was really nice. Was very easy to follow, and having code snippets to actually test the code and kind of like pick at it to see what it's all about was really easy to work with and integrates with React quite well. And then on the back end, we use Express.js for our server, and we use Knex.js for our query our query builder in order to communicate with our database. And then we used a relational database, PostgresQL. And then at the back end, we also had our API route for our Stripe endpoint, which again was very simple to implement, and we were able to connect both the front end and back end with no issues. So thank you very much, and I will pass it on to Gaetan.
So we spent a lot of time during the first meeting to decide how we wanted to build this app. So we come to the point that we wanted to build a bare bone app together. So that's why we decided to have an approach with pair programming. We really wanted to come to reach the point where we could make a call with the front end and the back end really easily. But once we reached that point, once we had the skeleton of our app, we didn't split up yet. We decided to implement the payment feature together using the Stripe API that Evan just explained you. And we also did that in pair programming. And this is only when we got a fully very simple full stack app with a button that could make you pay that we actually split it up. One team was taking care of the feature of the front end, and one team was about the back end. And now I'm going to hand off to Chris for the challenges that we faced during this.
Thank you, Gaetan. As you might imagine, every development process has some challenges attached to it. And the first thing that we struggled a lot with was the scope of the MVP, the scope of the minimum viable project. And this is, of course, because we have now spent 8 weeks learning to code, trying our best to code everything, and now we got to get a real MVP to work with, and we want to go into very, very many directions. We want to implement lots of features, everything that 4 people could think of, and we really needed to sit down and focus on just one piece, one core concept that we wanted to work with. The second challenge that we faced was developing mobile first. I, for example, do not have a lot of experience with this previous to this week. But Gaetan fortunately already knew a lot about this and was able to take the lead in this regard and pull us through and get this demo running on his phone while we are presenting this. And the third part that is, of course, very important is implementing authentication. Because we are working with the Stripe API and there's actual transactions involved, we need to make sure that that our application is secure and everything works in terms of authentication.
Okay, so I'll just talk us through some of the things that we learned through this process. So the first thing was planning. So we dedicated quite a decent amount of time to planning, and it really was a core or key component to the process for us. It gave us a clear idea of the roles that we would play in the development of the app, and also gave us a big picture and the vision of what we were all working towards. We also learned a lot about MVP, which is the minimum viable product, which Chris already mentioned was a big challenge for us. But I think by the end, we really understood exactly what it is to have a simple MVP ready. The third thing that we learned about, I think, was flexible working. So as Gaetan said, we started off with with teamwork and pair programming, and then moving on to like solo work and pair work again. Tasks were divided quite flexibly, but we also had a very open door policy, which leads me on to the fourth point, which is communication. We really learned what it was to work as a team, communicating clearly with each other, bouncing ideas off each other. And with that open door policy, we were never afraid to just reach out to each other when we needed a bit of support or just someone else's eye on some code. So I think that was really beneficial for us. We learned a lot over the course of the last few days. And now I'll pass it back over to Gaetan, who's going to talk about the future vision of the app.
Thank you, Judy. So we thought about some future implementation that we could put in our app. First, we would like to implement a map that would allow you to select the closest user from you. This could be apparented like Uber, for example. In Uber app, you can select the closest person that can the closest driver, sorry, that can lead you to a point B. This is one of the things that we would implement in our app. Also, we would like to implement a reward system for helpers in the shape of point or stars. This is actually to emphasize on the gamification of our app and to always incite people to help each other. We would like to expand also. Right now, we're only in Tokyo. And why not expand in other big cities in Japan where foreigners also want help, such as Osaka, Kyoto, Hiroshima. All those cities are potential cities that we could that our app could be useful in. And we would like to implement integrated instant message. This is actually a feature that we wanted to implement since the beginning, but we didn't have time in our MVP to work on this feature. And this is actually one of the things that we could implement first thing in the future.
And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you all very much for listening. And we would like to take this chance to really very much thank the team of Stripe. We had a great experience this week working with some real technology and working with people really in the business. And it was just very, very great experience all around. Please reach out to us and check out our app. You can find the link to our application behind the QR code, and you can see once again our GitHub handles for reaching out. Thank you again very much, and back to you, Shivani.
Amazing job, Team Cashless. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I really wish that I had Tasukete back when I moved to Tokyo for the first time 3 years ago. Yeah, incredible. All right, next up, we're going to have Team Spoonify to talk about their app. And Spoonify is a platform which will help small businesses survive during the COVID-19 crisis by diversifying and selling their products online. Sounds very timely and very useful. So Team Spoonify, please take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us. So we will speak about our app, which we made during the last few days, which we called Spoonify. And first, before going into the meat of this presentation, let's get a bit of appetizer and let's introduce ourselves. My name is Alex Fachin, and I'm the tech lead for this app.
Hello, my name is Mattia Bonicelli, and I mostly worked on the front end.
My name is Mark Herring, and I also worked on the front end.
My name is Jay Sutamjaru, and I also worked on the front end.
My name is Michael Metcalf, and I worked on the back end with Alex.
All right, thank you, everyone. So let's see what we are going to speak about tonight. So first, we're going to speak a bit about the app and the origin of the idea and what it does. Then we'll go through a bit of a few use cases to see for who this app is for. Then we'll have a little demo, and then we'll see the tech stack for this app and future features and our learning and challenges. So Spoonify, what is Spoonify? What is this app, and where does this idea come from? So when we discussed about the project at the beginning of the week, we all agreed that we were all foodies, and the situation the situation COVID is really tough for brick and mortar businesses, small businesses, individually owned businesses, the businesses that we love, and the businesses that make what Tokyo is great for, the businesses that makes the heart of the city, that makes the soul of the city. And we don't want those businesses to disappear. So how can we help them? And how can we help them in an easy way? Because those people are not necessarily tech savvy. So the goal is to provide an app which helps them to survive by diversifying their income. So the merchants can sell their items or items they make specially for it, and the clients can contribute, people who used to go to those restaurants, people who like these restaurants, or just people who want to help. They can contribute as much as they want on top of the regular price of the items. So just to be clear, we are not speaking about a food delivery app. We're speaking rather merchants focusing on non-perishable items, which can be pickles, jam or something, or can be coupons, or the sky's the limit in terms of imagination. So for this app, we worked with Stripe, like everybody else. And this was a really amazing time because they have a really, really, really great API. We were able to provide, to make an app with secure payment and authentication in a few days of work, which is something that you could not have thought about in 10 years ago or even 7 years ago. And Stripe is really great with the easiness of documentation or something to offer new possibilities to people who are not really in the industry, to make it easy. And the people right now, the owners of our restaurants, need some easy solutions to help them survive the crisis. And as developers, we are really excited to look even further into the new possibilities that the Stripe API offers, because we only experienced just a small amount, and there's so much more to explore. And now we're going to look at some detailed use cases and users, and I pass the floor to Mark.
Thanks, Alex. So who is Spoonify for? Answering this question was a really important part of our design process. So before building anything, we decided to create fictional characters representing users of our product, and we called these personas. So personas helped us understand our real user needs and how we would implement our app. So why don't we have a look at some of our potential users? So first off, we have Jenna Kellogg's. She runs a local burger joint in Minato-ku. She's not very tech savvy, and her business has been impacted by COVID-19. So she's desperately looking for new income streams, whether that be selling pickles or sauces or coupons for future meals at her restaurant. And she runs a family business, actually. So it's a family-run operation. So she needs a simple way to sell restaurant products online and an easy way to set up potential other revenue streams. So how about persona number 2? This is Ryo Nagata. He's a salaryman. He also lives in Minato-ku, and he's a burger aficionado. But he's been working from home recently. His finances have not been affected by COVID, and he has disposable income, and he loves eating out. So he wants a way to support the business he always goes to during lunch break. Next up, we have Simon Wensleydale. He's head chef at the prestigious Fromage restaurant in Roppongi. He employs about 20 people, and he manages a large team within a fast-paced environment. And his needs, although the business is surviving, he fears that some of the junior staff will have to be let go. So he wants to sell high-quality wines and cheeses online to keep that revenue coming in. And finally, we have Abigail Ito. She's a high-flying businesswoman. She lives in Aoyama, and she loves fine dining. As a result of COVID-19, she doesn't really go on business lunch meetings that much, and she misses her favorite foodstuffs. So she wants to get some of the best food and foodstuffs she can get from restaurants in Tokyo. So these characters are a snapshot of our users. So now let's see how this was translated into our product. So I'll hand it over to Mattia.
Thank you, Mark. As we designed with the mobile-first approach, I will be demoing our app in a mobile screen. So once you connect to our app, you will be presented with the store where you can have a brief look at our items. You will be able to read the brief description, but to be able to actually purchase, you will have to log in. So let's go ahead and do that. We are using a third-party app to make sure that the connection is secure. So let us connect. And once you're logged in, you will have access to an account info page that displays some basic information, to your purchase history that contains some basic information about your orders. But let us go back to the store for now. So let's buy a couple items, maybe a couple jars of jams and some beef jerky. But what really makes our app different is the ability to support the business. So we have added a tip button. So for example, if we were to select to give a tip when we buy pickles, the listing price would be of 1,200 yen. But if we go look into our shopping cart, we're actually paying a 10% tip to the business. In the future, you will be able to decide the amount of the tip, but for our app right now, it's just 10%. But let us go ahead and pay. So for paying, we are actually using Stripe. And we can check that the details of the order are correct. And we can decide to go ahead and process our payment. So it's processing, and it looks like it was successful. To check, we can go to the Stripe dashboard and refresh. And you will see that the payment has succeeded. Now, the Stripe dashboard is a really powerful tool, but we feel that it may become a little overwhelming for our less tech-savvy users. So for our merchants, we have added a tab in our app that displays some basic information about the orders and allows them to update the status directly so that the users may know what's happening with the order. This is so that smaller businesses that don't rely on third-party delivery services are able to quickly and easily let the users know what's happening with their order. So that was all for our demo. I will now hand you in the hands of Jay so that he may explain a little bit about what we're using under the hood. Take it away.
Thank you, Mattia. So now let's talk about our front-end technologies for a bit. In the beginning, we had a discussion whether to use Vue or React. And after a brief discussion, we found that our team was just a little bit more confident in putting things together quickly with Vue. So we decided to went with it. And with Vue comes Vuetify, that blue logo you see right now. And since we were going for a mobile-first design, Vuetify gave us that ability to create a mobile user interface in a very short amount of time. Now, in terms of the state management, we decided to use VueX to handle our state management. If you don't know, it's basically a way for different components, or in our case, our different web pages, to access the same information from a unified location instead of having to manually pass the data around. We found that using VueX made the project much simpler and much easier. Now to the authentication, in other words, logging in. We use a third party mainly for two reasons. One, because it's simpler, and two, because it's more secure. When you click on login, it redirects you to the third-party service. And once the user punch in their information over there and logs in, it sends back the user info. And similarly to VueX, all of our web pages will have access to those information from the unified location. We found that extremely convenient. And now let's see what we use. Let's see what happens when you click pay. So when a user press pay, it sends the user's shopping cart information back to the backend server, and the backend server, which contains sensitive information about the store and everything, relays that to Stripe along with the cart information. And so that Stripe knows who they're talking with. Then Stripe sends back a unique code, and then the server relays that back to the user and then redirects the user to Stripe to make that payment. It's pretty cool. And that's it for the front end, and Michael will now take it for the back end.
Thank you very much, Jay. I'll speak a little bit about the technologies that we decided to go with in the back end. So for our server, we used Express.js. The next icon, the adorable little elephant there, is our database, Postgres. It's a relational database that stores all of our user information or product information and such. The orange cog icon next to our cute little elephant is Knex.js, and Knex.js allows us to interface PostgresQL, our database, with our server so they can talk to each other. And of course, we use the Stripe API. Going into a little bit more detail about our database, we have a diagram here. We had 3 separate tables in our database. We had a users table, an orders table, and a products table. And this is how data was shared between them. You can just follow the line and see the links between them. So that's a little bit about our backend, and I will now pass you into the capable hands of Mark, who will share with you the future aspirations of Spoonify.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, so future features. So to build a solid app in 4 days, we decided our minimum viable product should implement a one-time payment with the option to tip. However, in the future, we really want to add additional features utilizing the full Stripe API. So some of our ideas were subscriptions. So this allows users to have a revolving monthly delivery of their favorite foodstuffs, or even a crowdfunding functionality. So think of a restaurant in your local area. They might need additional help to support them. Now with a crowdfunding feature, you can do that. And as for ourselves as a business, as a company, Spoonify wants to grow and expand. So maybe we can build into an e-commerce platform or a marketplace for multiple restaurant chain clients. So, think Shopify or Amazon, but for the food and catering industry. So now I'll pass you on to Mattia to tell you about the challenges we faced.
Thank you, Mark. Perhaps the biggest challenge that we faced was how to handle the flow of data. We had originally thought of managing the interactions with the Stripe API from the front end, but we quickly realized that we were handling a lot of sensitive data. So we decided to move our workflow towards the back end, allowing us to keep the user's personal information more safe. And another step we took to further the security was to implement a third-party library that handles the authentication and allows us to pass its data directly to the Stripe API without having to store the user's personal information on our database. It was the first project in which we had to really think about the implication of our possible negligence in managing the data. And to talk more about what we learned from this experience, I will hand it over to Michael.
Thanks, Mattia. So these are the things we gained from working through this project. As Mattia just mentioned, security conscious coding. This was the first time for most of us, if not all of us, that we had dealt with sensitive information. So we had to be aware of that. And we also used Vuetify to tackle our mobile first design strategies. So that was a somewhat new technology, and that helped us out greatly. We also consolidated knowledge of how our data flows. We had a few iterations in our database implementation, trying to figure out and understand how data needed to get where, particularly when using the Stripe API in combination with our database and server and front end. And bouncing off of that, that helped us to work quickly as a team. We didn't have very much time to put everything together. So we had to get our soft skills into practice and be agile together. That also ties into our workflow and version control experiences. Version control basically means the different versions and history of the app as we're making it. We had to rethink some things along the way, and we had to make some changes. So that was very useful to know. And we also got a better grasp of how to scale the product. Now I'll pass it on to Alex.
So thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone of our audience for listening to us. And thank you, a big up to Stripe again for their whole support for the week, for making internet accessible, to make it easy for people to access the internet. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Everybody stay safe as well because of COVID, and let's get through this together. Thank you very much. Don't hesitate to contact us by GitHub, and bon appetit.
Thank you, everyone. Please stay safe.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much, Team Spoonify, for that amazing presentation. What a thoughtful app for these trying times for small businesses, indeed. And with that, I am so sad to say that that is the end of our night. We just had 4 amazing presentations, each and every one of those apps, from MentorMe to Izo, Tasukete, and Spoonify were all incredible, and we really appreciate everyone at home watching. Please feel free to leave comments in the live stream as you've been doing, congratulating the students with us. We always appreciate those. And thank you again to Daniel, Kenta, and Christoph for all your help supporting our students from Stripe. I just want to announce a few things. So if you're as sad as I am to see this night come to an end, there is more to these students' journeys. Next week on the 22nd, on Saturday, we're going to have a big mini conference where all of these students are going to be presenting 25-minute tech talks on a topic of their choosing. Should be a really fun day, so please feel free to tune into the live stream then. And in just a little over a month, they will be fully fledged engineers presenting for Demo Day on June 17th. So please mark your calendars and join us again on that day. And with that, we'll be closing this evening out. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and see you at the next event.